Salut, c'est Mathieu de Ludovox et aujourd'hui on est sur le stand de FFG avec Sara. Hi Sara.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
So you told us before the interview that it was your first GenCon. How do you think is it?
It's overwhelming, but so much fun. I'm having such a great time.
And you're here with a brand new game, so it's still a prototype, not an early prototype because it sounds to be, well, it seems almost final, for a new Warhammer game, Warhammer Quest.
Yes, it is a brand new game, just announced yesterday, and it is a cooperative 1 to 4 player dungeon delve type card game. Each player has a different character. They have the same 4 basic actions, but the actions are weighted a little differently depending on which character you have. The characters will work together to complete quests. There's campaigns made up of, this particular one has 5 quests. This one, they want you to move through 4 different locations, fighting enemies and gathering loot, in the end to explore Grump's Sump.
So we have 4 different actions that we exhaust or tap. So we have the first action that we have is attacking people, obviously. And how does that work?
When you do your actions, any of the actions, you roll dice. The cards will tell you how many dice you roll. With the basic cards, it's generally 1 or 2. If you have any enemies currently engaged with you, you also roll an enemy dice to see if you take any damage from them. If you roll successes, you'll apply them to your action. The successes are different depending on which action you're doing. A attack success would be damage. If you're doing rest, it would be health that you would regain. If you were exploring, that is how you get your progress tokens on your location. And then aid allows you to earn success tokens that you can give to the other players. You can't aid yourself, and they can assign them to actions to be spent later as a guaranteed successful roll.
And so all of the characters are different, and one of each character's actions will ready the other actions. So for example, if I'm like this, if I use rest, my battle prayers, I will tap out the action. Then the last line says ready all of your actions. So this allows probably for some design space. For example, here it's the explore actions that will ready everything. Here it's the aid action, and there it's probably the attack action.
It is. Yep, it's different. Each player, it's a different one.
So when we explore, we get these traps, these equipment. How do they work?
The dungeon deck, the number of cards in it is specified on the back of the quest card, which specifies how many enemies you'll put in, any specific locations you'll use, and how many cards are in this deck. Different things you do, generally exploring, will result in you getting to draw from the dungeon deck. It can be items or events, good or bad. You can save the items for later, play them as you will. Once the item deck is gone, it is gone for the rest of the quest. You don't get to reshuffle it.
But the monsters get reshuffled because it's unfair.
Of course, they will always come back.
And we have some statuses that can apply to the heroes, such as bleeding, sickened, or empowered, which is a buff. And the cool mechanic that you showed us before was the shadows. So we will have some monsters here, and they will lunge at us.
Yes, when you enter a location, the location card will show you how many enemies are currently engaged with you. Whoever has the party leader token, you deal them the first one and go around accordingly, however many. And then the gray number tells you how many monsters are dealt to the shadows. They're dealt face down, so you don't know what they are. If they are given damage or a condition is applied to the monster, that is when they are then revealed.
And the monsters have ability names such as advance, which means that I engage a monster or inflict. They inflict damage, or prey. They go prey upon the weakest character.
Yep, during the game, during the enemy phase, which is the second phase, the heroes all get to act first. During the enemy phase, all the enemies that are not exhausted for some reason will get a chance to act, again starting with the party leader. they will engage either the enemy in front of them, or if they don't have one, an available enemy in the shadows. Each enemy does have text, and they'll complete the actions in order from left to right. In this case, it would advance to the player activating it, and then it would inflict the damage, which is the blue number here. Some of the other fun effects that they can do, we have enemies that prey. They will go after the enemy, or the hero, excuse me, with the most damage, and then inflict them with the damage number.
Or they could ensnare the heroes by tapping actions, or do other stuff like retreat to the shadows and shoot people from the shadows. You also told us about like nemesis and herald dice on faces on dice. What about them?
In this particular quest, our nemesis is Odious Grump. He is the main character that you are trying to defeat or have to deal with on your quest to complete the 4 locations. The herald dice, when you do roll this result, his card tells us that you must take 2 wounds and distribute them among the heroes that are playing.
It's because Grump is a tough cookie, right?
He is. When you defeat him, he never actually gets defeated. He simply retreats to his lair, and several game conditions do cause him to enter the game repeatedly.
And how many quests? You said there will be a campaign of 5 quests, but how many campaigns will there be?
I have no idea.
And do you have any idea about the release date of Warhammer Quest?
At this point, no, I don't.
It was not announced yet, but I wasn't sure. And there are 3 versions for each hero. What can you tell me about this?
The hero cards scale according to how many people are playing the game, 2, 3, or 4. Rumor has it you can play it solo as well. I believe that'll be covered in the instruction book. And as you scale down to fewer players, the little added ability goes up to kind of help, and they have more hit points.
Probably by having 2 characters playing solo?
That might be.
Okay, well, thank you, Sarah, for this overview of the game. I think we've covered pretty much everything of the game. And we'll see each other probably next GenCon.
I certainly hope so.
Bye bye, à bientôt sur Ludovox.